Hey everybody, it's Blake Poston and Danielle with the U+ME equals home team. Exciting, cool thing we're doing today. It's an open roundtable discussion. We have Elise and Steve with Planet Home Lending. They are our special guests, our first guest on our open roundtable discussion. They are some actual local lenders that we use quite often with all of our buyers. So if you're looking to buy a home in the next year or two, you need to be getting with them. They'll give you guys the best information that you need, as well as get you on the right path to get you into a home, okay? But we have a few questions that we're going to go over. This information will be awesome for first-time home buyers and people that just are looking into getting into real estate and buying. Also, maybe if you're looking to refinance, some good information for you as well. So we're going to go ahead and open this forum with our questions. Danielle's going to go ahead and start with us, and then we'll just go back and forth. Throughout the time, if you have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and comment on the live thread, and we will come back and comment answers for you later after the video is done, okay? Otherwise, thank you for joining with us, and let's get this thing started. So,
all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. So the first thing is we want to know a little bit more about you and Steve and what you offer. So let us know what got you into the industry.
Well, I actually spent 20 plus years in the finance corporate world and decided that I wanted to be able to work with people directly outside of management and be able to help them more. So 4 years ago, I became a licensed mortgage originator.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having us. I've been in the business 23 years. I know it's crazy, isn't it? But I've done mostly loan origination, done a little bit of underwriting and processing. So I just kind of knew a guy that his dad was in the business, and he got me in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
awesome. And that's pretty good. So experience is really good, especially with the lender, knowing different types of loans, knowing what the industry has to go with. A lot of people just getting into the industry haven't been through the recession and ups and downs. Steve and Elise both have, and they are experienced, so it's really good to have them. Question number 2, what type of loans does Planet Home Lending offer?
Well, we have your standard FHA loan with just the 3.5% down.
Okay.
We have the VA and the USDA loans that there's no money down required on those loans. And we have the conventional loans. They can be 5, 10, 15, or 20% down. There's different types. But if you go below 20, you have to have the mortgage insurance premium. And then we also do jumbo loans.
Excellent.
Awesome. What are interest rates right now on 30 to 15 years?
Okay, interest rates vary depending on your credit score and your loan to value, how much you're borrowing. Rates for example, on an FHA, I'm going to say are from 2.5 to 3.5, depending on your score. The lower your score, the higher your rate's going to be.
Right.
VA is, and that was on a 30-year,
Right.
VA is starts at about 2.25 to 2.5 if you have really high credit, and it goes up to 3.5.
Right.
The lower your score is, that's no money down. And conventional, that varies. On a 15, you're talking anywhere 2 to 2.25 on a 15. On a 30-year, anywhere from 2.6, 2.5 up to 3.125. So it really just depends on your score and the money you're putting down.
Okay.
And the property type.
And the property type.
Right, that's a big kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most people think you can go get pre-approved for a normal home and go buy a mobile home,
No.
and those rules are completely
Yeah,
different.
your rates are going to be higher because they consider it a higher risk.
Right.
Just like a condominium, the rates are a little higher on a condo because they're just a little higher risk.
Right. So a lot of details in that
Right.
that you really need to get hashed out before you go, shopping.
Yeah, they taught me this week in manufactured homes and investment property. There's a lot that goes into that too. So thank you.
Absolutely. Let's see. What are the most asked questions that you get from buyers?
Well, one of the questions mostly that we get, what does my score need to be?
Right.
And so then, I go into more detail of the process with the borrower. And then another question they have is, how long do I need to be at my job?
Okay. Excellent.
So,
I get all the time questions. We run into is how does the lender get paid? Does the buyer pay you guys directly? They're always wondering, is my closing cost paying your commission?
yeah, there's no cost to the borrower for us. We get paid by the lender, so there is no cost for our services.
See, zero cost, guys, for lenders, and zero cost for buyer representation as well. So.
I will throw in one thing about that. The only way there would be an additional cost is if you were buying a rate down or you wanted a lower rate.
Correct.
Then there is some cost to that in some cases.
Right.
Okay, awesome. What are the items required to get approved for a loan?
Normally, basically, if you're a normal salary person, W-2, we need to get their last 2 years W-2s and their last 30 days worth of pay stubs to get started, and their bank statements to show that they've got the money for closing, to bring to closing, and then we run their credit. So.
Okay. And then with that being said, what are kind of like the estimated out of pocket expenses for a buyer?
Typically, it again depends on the size of a loan and the price of the home.
Right.
Because you got title insurance is going to be a little higher. But typically, I would say with everything between $5,500 to $7,000 is where we're seeing. Most of that isn't the actual closing cost. The actual closing cost is about $3,000 typically.
Right.
But your others are going to be your prepaid 12 months of homeowner's insurance, your prepaid interest, and then you got taxes and insurance escrow accounts.
Right. So all bundled in.
All
there.
bundled in, you're talking typically $5,500 to $7,000. Of course, if you get a seller credit or something like that,
Right.
then it could be less.
And that's what we try to do is give you that seller credit so you're not having to pay the closing costs. But if you do, you'll know that there's all bundled up a lot of costs involved in that.
Okay. What is all included in the monthly mortgage payment?
They call it the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So when somebody gives you your full mortgage payment, that will include the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So you're not gonna have to pay your taxes and insurance when the invoices come in the mail the following year. That's all included in your mortgage payment.
Excellent. Excellent.
One thing that to be aware for is HOA though, right? Because that will kind of determine what you're approved for.
That's not included in the house payment. That's one of the things it's not. But you still have to pay it, and it does go into your debt ratio.
Okay.
So it counts against your debt ratio. So if you got a $200 or $300 a month HOA fee, that can definitely affect your debt ratios for qualifying.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Now with the pandemic, what's the biggest change that you've had to deal with during the pandemic? And how have you dealt with it?
Well, worked remotely before that, so I don't know we've seen that much. The biggest part we miss is seeing people direct at closings, because we like to go to our closings whenever possible.
Right.
To meet our client, because sometimes that's the first time we see them.
Right.
And that way, that's about the only impact we've seen. Otherwise, we can do business, via text, phone, email, and it's just a bonus when we get to meet people in person.
Awesome.
So.
And another thing with COVID was lending standards have tightened up since COVID. You can still get loans done with lower scores, but they're difficult to do. So typically right now, 620 and above is typically where you need to be.
Okay.
There are some lenders that can do the lower score loans, but COVID definitely affected the lending standards. They tightened up quite a bit.
Absolutely. And more is to be more of a reason to be on top of things too.
Correct.
I've worked with Steve and Elise plenty of times, and they're always on top of it. Elise mentioned she goes to closing. She's one of the only lenders I know that actually shows up to closing. If there's a problem, they're there to hash it out right at the table, which is really awesome. So.
Awesome. What information or items would you like people to know right now?
Definitely, from what we're seeing and hearing, rates are gonna start rising.
Oh, wow.
So we hope that's not the case, but that's kind of not what's indicated. And so if people are thinking about refinancing or purchasing, it definitely would be the time to do it. I know inventory's low here in the Springs, but if they're somewhere else in the state, and have the opportunity to purchase, definitely do that. One other thing, when we were touching on qualifications for self-employed people, one difference with them, we need to see 2 years worth of tax returns. And they can't have everything written off. So definitely if a person's self-employed, definitely check into prior to purchasing to see where you're at and if there's any changes, because they may have to wait a year, sometimes more, depending on what their situation is with their taxes.
Wow.
Yeah, so start early if you can. If you're gonna buy a house, get pre-approved with a lender as soon as you can, so that way you can start working on if there's any issues.
Right.
So you're ready to go when you're ready to buy.
And in that offer, yeah, we have the approval letter to help support.
Right.
And one other quick thing, don't make any big purchases. Don't go buy an RV, a new car, or anything like that if you're thinking of buying a home, because we've seen that disqualify people, because then their debt to income ratios don't qualify them for the mortgage. So if you're wanting to buy a house, you buy the house first, get the RV and the motorcycles and new cars later.
And I want to hit on a point. I mean, it's very smart to get pre-approved early, because if you don't, right now the average buyer, if you're under 400,000, there's maybe 60 homes on the market. You are taking possibly months to get into a home if you're not coming with your best foot forward. So if you're thinking, oh, my lease ends here in 2 months, I'll start getting approved in a month. Should have got approved maybe a month or two ago, because now you need to start shopping. By the time everything happens, escrow, 30 days later, you're into a home. We've taken 4 months on some clients because the market is so hard. Not to say we can't do it, but we have to work hard, and we need your help to get everything in order first. So.
It's competitive out there, and if you're looking to build, that process alone is 6 to 12 months right now.
And most builders are booked out until 2022 to even start the dig anyway. So good luck. Let's see. What are some extra things that you guys have to offer at Planet Home Lending?
Yeah, so we do a couple different things. So I specialize in divorce lending.
Oh, excellent.
Is one of the things. So if somebody's, unfortunately, nobody likes to see that.
Right.
But if you're going through a divorce, there's a few little things that need to be addressed before you go making your agreements and go to mediation. So get involved early with that. So, and the other thing is we do have a $500, what we call the hero lender credit. It's they kind of limit us as what we can do, but it it kind of offsets the appraisal for the most part.
Excellent.
And that's for firefighters, EMTs, police officers, doctors, teachers, nurses, any military veterans. I'm a veteran, so that's near and dear to my heart.
So military, Steve's gone through the process. He's lived your life, so he's definitely experiencing that. Really important if you're looking to get into a VA loan to have somebody with experience that knows what's going on. Me as a military brat myself, I kind of lived that life. So it's really important to kind of get in and do that. So that's really smart.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us and kind of answering the basic questions that a lot of people don't know.
Right.
They're just getting started. They have no idea what to do. So we really appreciate that. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is our first Facebook Live, and we wanted to bring lenders that were experienced, who know what they're doing. Elise and Steve would love to help you if you're looking to refinance on any loan. And of course, Blake and I are here if you want to buy or sell your home.
That's right.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll go back through and answer them for you, because I know if you want to be elaborated or if you need their phone number, we'll definitely write in the comments and respond to you and get back to you. But thank you all for joining us today. It was really fun, and thanks for supporting us as always.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a good day.